And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Designated Players, an MLS podcast. Yep, we are back with another tier list. We are wrapping up the 2024 season, and we are going to rank some of the greatest moments from 2024 MLS. And we're not talking the greatest moments like, oh, Red Bull making it to the MLS Cup final. We are talking just the most MLS moments of MLS 2024. Like the ones that you look back and you're like, yep, that's the league I love. That is the one I'm all about. I'm here with Connor. Connor, how are you doing?
Well, I was doing better before you were like, "Oh, we could talk about Red Bull making it to MLS Cup final." That kind of ruined my day a little bit.
Yeah, too bad I didn't ask, nor do I care. So before we get started, I do want to give a special shout out. This is we took our ideas from a video called No Context MLS 2024. We're going to link it down in the description, so make sure you go check out the full thing. But it is a video from joebush.net on YouTube. It is hilarious. Just watching all these back at the end of the year were just some of the best. Connor actually just watched it before we got started here, and he was just dying, weren't you?
I wish it was longer. 4 minutes is not enough. I need more. I need more.
We
I
need
don't,
the
I don't know if that's
vibes.
the leag's fault or what.
You know what it is? It's ProRel's fault. If we had ProRel, we get more vibes.
That's let's not dive down that. All right. Let's stay controlled here.
I can't. I need the ProRel. All right. We've got a couple of really good ones here. You guys can see from the quick graphic I just put up if you are watching on YouTube. Make sure you go subscribe if you haven't already, by the way. We're working towards 1,000. We want to get all the way to 1,000 next year. So help us get there early. But we are going through the tier list. We've got the basic tiers: GOAT, great, good, average, trash. We've got just 10 events that we're going to look into here, and we're just going to rank them on vibes. What are the ones you look back and like, I'm going to remember that in 5 years? That is going to just be the funniest thing that I look back on. Things like that. It's just going to be straight vibes. It's going to be a good time. So make sure you let us know what you think in the comment. How would you rank these tiered? But before we get into any of that, of course, it's scarf of the week. I still don't have my scarf. We are rocking Gatorade FC today. Um, we're rocking good old Gatorade. Yep, still don't have anything. So should
Oh,
have it back
you're
by
going in the
season
trash
six.
tier.
Season six, we will have all of the scarves. We'll actually have a couple of cool videos. I got some ideas planned already. So make sure you're following us so you know when they come out.
Yeah. For me, if you listen to the last video, I've got the same scarf, but this time it's upside down.
Whoa, vibes.
Yep. So now this is the no, I'm not even gonna try it. I was gonna try to say the name backwards. That's way too much work. I'm also gonna keep it off my neck because it is warm as hell down here, and I don't want to sweat.
You know how warm hell is? You been there?
Hell's real.
Yeah, well, I went and saw Hadestown, so I was basically in hell for a little bit, for like 2 hours, 3 hours. It was very fun.
Was it fun?
It was, yeah. It was a very touching story that made lots of people in the theater cry. Not me. I didn't quite understand
He's a
parts
big
of it.
tough guy. He doesn't cry.
I don't. I didn't quite understand certain parts of it, but this is not a musical theater review. We will do that
Not
for
yet.
our other podcast. Yet we're actually spin-off. If you hadn't heard, um, we're about to go be critics. We need to stop getting off topic. We
Impossible
do, yeah,
challenge.
yeah. That'll be one of our off-season videos. I'll just be randomly making just
Another
all
spin-off where
yes,
we just
all of the
ramble.
all of the terrible like spin-offs we've done. Why don't we just jump right into it? You cool?
I love jumping, so I'm in. I'm in.
I'm okay. Well, uh, let's start then with the what I can only describe as a scrum in the box between Chicago Fire and Orlando City. It is the third minute of a game. The Chicago Fire are trying to clear the ball out of their own 6 yard box, failing to do so very miserably. Orlando trying to kick it in the goal, not being successful in the slightest. And then it looks like it might be Facundo Torres who just kind of sticks his leg out as is that Chicos maybe trying to clear the ball. Before he can kick it, he just pokes it in and watches it roll past Chris Brady into the bottom corner. Connor, where are you ranking this?
Are we looking for a bell curve, or are we just going off
Nope.
of what we truly
Vibes.
believe?
Vibes.
I think it fits into good. I think it fits
Good?
into good because it is hilarious to watch. It is, but it doesn't feel super unique to MLS. Like I'm sure you could find something similar, in another league. So while it is entertaining, I do think it's not so specific to MLS where I'd be like, yes, it has to be great. And I'm not saying like something needs to be super specific for it to be great or GOAT, but in this case, with this context, I think it does.
Yeah, yeah, I was kind of feeling that way as well. I'm not so sure like we talked about like, oh, am I going to remember this in a bunch of years? I think this is something that will pop up in a few years and be like, oh yeah, I do remember that. And it was something that was spread around like the anti. I was like, oh, look at the level of this league. It's so bad, right? Like we didn't just watch the Manchester Derby and fall asleep for, 85 minutes of that game, watching people dribble out of bounds and balls go under their feet. Like but yeah, this isn't something I'm going to think back and be like, oh my God, that might have been the funniest thing ever, right? I think good is a good place to put it. No pun intended. Uh, yeah, I guess we just keep going, man. Like let's just roll through it.
Yeah, let's keep
We'll
crushing
go.
it.
Let's jump right into the playoffs, and it is Atlanta United versus the Philad. No, I'm sorry, versus Inter Miami, Inter Messi, and the the ball goes in after being absolutely shut down by 40-year-old tranked up Brad Guzan. Lionel Messi finally scores a goal, and he just picks up the ball and starts running away. And then it's all of Messi's little minions who start to be like, "Oh, now we're gonna be tough because Messi scored a goal." Brad Guzan trying to get the ball out of his goal. Messi sneaks in under and grabs him. Leo Campana comes in and absolutely wrecks him and throws him straight into the goal. Luis Suarez, as Brad Guzan is floundering in the goal, comes over and starts like getting in his face like he's all tough. Brad Guzan catapults himself out of the net to go chase him down. All the while the referee is making sure he protects Don Garber's babies. Don't you yell at them. And then Brad Guzan comes out and is spoken to. I will jump in right here. This to me, I want to put this in GOAT so badly. I think this is just one of the things that is so funny. It is one of the things I will likely remember for quite a while. It is just the pinnacle of MLS tries to build super team, gets stopped by Brad Guzan, and then capitulates. And I think what puts it into GOAT for me is the Brad Guzan launching out of the net, like just using the
He's like a
momentum.
salmon flying
Yes.
out of the water.
That to me is what puts it like it was great until I saw Brad Guzan go like momentum physics run and I go at it. It was just all of it come together so perfectly, especially Luis Suarez, who had like done nothing all
The whole
series,
series, yeah.
to then go in and try and get up in his face as Brad Guzan laughed him off for the last three games. Just every time Luis Suarez tried to do anything, he just laughed at him. I think it goes in GOAT for me.
Yeah, no, this is I was gonna if you were gonna send it to me first, I was gonna say I'm putting this in GOAT, and if you want it lower, you got to talk me out of it because based on your criteria of like, are we gonna remember this? I am biased, of course. I'm an Atlanta fan, so I'm going to remember Atlanta moments more clearly than like some other people might remember it. I will remember this for a long time, that's for sure. Like the whole like culmination of it, like the context outside of just the clip of like Brad Guzan going out like insane to shut down Messi and knock him out of the playoffs. But even just within the clip is so funny. Like watching him get stuck in the net and struggling to get out. And then, like you said, he finally gets he gets some momentum and he shoots out of the net like a fish out of water. And then just completely ignores Suarez, which I think is great. But yeah, I mean, we know who got the last laugh. But yeah, that's goated
Oh
100%.
man. Well, and you combine that then too with that last save that he made on Suarez where he just let it hit him and he just flexed on him like, "Let's go." That like it all just comes together to be so good. Yeah, 100%. I think it's goated and I think that is a good spot for it.
Yeah.
We then move on to a Jordi Mihailovic clip, which I think is just I don't know any of the context behind it. I think it might have been they had made it through in Leagues Cup, something along those lines. You've got a clip here. It's Chris Armas was kind of given some credit to one of his players, and the camera's there, like focus real quick on him, and Jordy Mihailovic goes in, grabs the camera, and screams up the F, and I can't say it, her family friendly show and whatever. He goes up the effing Pids. And it's just so out of context. You weren't expecting any of it at all. They couldn't cut away from it. They could like you just caught all of it. Um and I thought it was just really, really funny, and I wanted to include it in this list.
I I I think I would put it in great. I feel like it's somewhat unique. I mean, it's not unique in the fact that like he's the only person that's ever like shouted at a camera before, but like nobody else around the world is saying up the effing Pids for good reason, because that would be insane because there's no context for other people to say it. But like I said, he's not the only person to really ever like yell into the camera versus like how many times have you seen a big bald man get shoved into the net, you know? So I think it's unique. I think it's good. I think it's unique. I think it's great. So I would put it in the great tier.
I'll tell you, man, I actually just think it's average. Like, if we're talking about things we're gonna remember and things that were like, and I think it might be the length of the clip too. Like, I think it was just like a quick like 2 second thing, and I don't really know the context behind it. And it's not like I looked, when we were watching it and we looked back and it was like, oh, I do remember when that happened for whatever, right? I don't remember anything about this one. So I don't think it was as impactful as some of the others were, right? That we've talked about and are going to talk about. So I kind of think it's average. I don't think it's bad. I think it's funny. That's why I included it. But I do think it's just kind of eh. Like if you ask me next year, like, do you remember when Jordy did this? No, no, I don't.
I think that's fair. I would be down for average too. I think it would bump up if it became more of like a thing for Rapids fans. Like if that became like a chant or something at the stadium, like up the effing Pids or something
Yeah.
like that.
Or,
Or
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 or like the
something even revolved
hashtag
around the Pids.
UTFP or something like that, right? Like they do UTFT for Everton or whatever. Like that'd be, yeah, if it caught on, absolutely we could change it. But for this one
Yeah.
right now, I'm just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I'm good. I'm good with average.
All right, we'll move it into average then. And then we'll move on to one that had taken the internet by storm. It's the Philadelphia Union playing in a game against New York City. It's the 20th minute. Matthias Ilinic throws the ball in, and the referee freezes play. Everybody looks around really confused, and why have we frozen play? A raccoon. Raquinho, if you will, gets on the field and using his vision is evading capture. He gets in and is climbing over barriers. He gets in and is avoiding the trash cans, using that vision to cut across the field like a prime Brazilian Ronaldinho, earning him the nickname Raquinho, earning him a Topps trading card online, earning him worldwide renowned. This may have been the greatest MLS moment of 2024 that did not happen on in a game. Where do you rank this in your tier list? I've
Oh,
got an
this is
idea.
easy. This is easy. This is goaded.
This
This
is
is
goaded.
100% goaded. This
Yep,
man
I
got a
agree.
tops card, like you said. I said this man. This is a raccoon. That's the
Well, that's like he's so renowned. You just think of him as another player.
yeah. No, this is goaded 100%. This is like not that it's like super unique. It's not like oh, this is the first animal that's ever run onto the field, but like this just feels very MLS like. It feels
Yes.
very. I don't know. I can't think of the right word, but it's goaded. No question.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, it has this almost canonical. Is that how you pronounce that?
I don't
Where
know.
it's like tied. It's just forever tied to MLS, right? RFK was infested with raccoons. You try to go to RFK Stadium, the old DC United Stadium, raccoons all over the place. They then moved to Audi Field, and the first time it rains, you see raccoons underneath in the trash cans, right? They've followed them everywhere. RSL back in the day, their whole merchandise, I believe it was RSL, they had raccoons in the ceiling, and they were in a nest above the team shop. So they came in one day and all of their gear was soaked in raccoon urine,
Ooh.
and it was nasty. But raccoons just have a weird connection to MLS, and to have one jump onto the field and just reignite all those memories, so funny. It is absolutely goated. Could not agree more. All right, let's then move on to one of the goals of the year. I don't know if I can give it one of the most goals of the year. Is it the good goal, bad goal? It depends on who you are. It's Kellen Acosta in the 99th minute in a game for the Chicago Fire against the CF Montreal. He picks up the ball 70 yards from his goal. Montreal are down a man. They're defending for their life to get a point away from home in the Windy City. He launches the ball forward to try and let it get knotted down. A gust of wind takes it all the way over the Montreal goalkeeper's head and into the goal. It is the most insane way for that to end. It is in the fourth week of the season, and they went from being down 3-1, coming back 4-3. All three of those goals to come back scored in the 84th minute or later. Brian Gutierrez with a penalty, Hugo Kuipers with a goal that was not a penalty, and then Kellen Acosta from way downtown. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's hilarious when you watch it back because he so clearly was not aiming for the goal. Like he was clearly trying to hit it out to the wing, and the wind just carried that thing. And I think it makes it look even worse because the goalkeeper got hands to it.
Yes.
Um, but my goodness, I remember watching this. I'm pretty sure watching it live. Like the comeback was crazy enough, and then that for that to happen in the ninth minute of stoppage time is insane. I think you may need to talk me down on this one again, but I got to put that in great. I just think with the context of it being ninth minute of stoppage time, like him clearly not trying to score the goal, just play it out wide and the ball just be whipped back towards the goal off the goalkeeper's hands and then in.
I don't need to talk you down. That's actually exactly where I was going to put it as well. I think like if we look back at some of these things and we go and ask Chicago fans like, "Hey, what are some of your memories for this year that will go down in MLS history for our series MLS History Retold?" I would not be shocked if this is on there. And if it's not, I'm adding it there because
Oh
this
yeah.
is one that I can remember for a while. I don't think it's as MLS lore goated, like, oh yeah, like remember when. But I think it's just a really great moment in the freak show that is MLS, right? The Windy City where stuff like that is just it happens, where he puts the ball up in the air and literally you see it, it's coming down, and then all of a sudden the wind just goes whoop, and it's just like he put it into the stratosphere. I'm like, okay, well that'll do it. And if you notice where he kicked the ball from, playing left back, of course.
Of course.
As he is left back Kellen Acosta.
Take
No,
notes,
it
clutch.
is. Yeah, it is a great, great moment in the 2024 season just because of the freak nature of it. To complete the three-goal comeback in stoppage time with a goal like that, great.
100%. Agreed.
All right, well, let's go then into the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It is the Philadelphia Union who did not get off to a great run in said cup, playing against Deportivo Saprissa. It is, I believe it's Jacob Gleesnes on the ball. Yep, just trying to play the ball back to Andre Blake. Andre Blake has miles and miles of room to receive this ball. Instead of actually taking it down, he tries to jump chest trap the ball in the weirdest way possible. It skips by him and into the bottom corner of the goal. Union had a very poor season, and this seemed to be the start of it. What I really like about CCC is you get to tell which teams are going to have the tough year right from the start. Last year it was Austin losing to the Haitian side with the
With the
tree behind the
tree.
goal, and then this year it's a Union doing stuff like that. So, what are your thoughts?
I feel like for our tier list, I'd probably put that at like average at best. Like it's kind of another crappy own goal, just like any other league or moment. And the one thing I will say though, combine this with our last episode, ooh, it was a rough year for Andre Blake. It was a
Yeah,
tough one for him.
Andre Blake and Philly have had a rough go of it.
Yeah. But I don't think it's anything like unique to MLS or super special. Like it was a bad own goal, but I don't know, average at best. To be honest, like I would be tempted to put like it feels so harsh being like, I'll put it in trash, but like I don't think I'll remember it beyond this year, to
No,
be
I
honest.
won't remember it, but I do think like the tree last year. I think it's one of those things you look back on and be like, oh, yep, that's how we knew. We knew this year was never going to go right
Nah,
when
don't
stuff like
compare it
that
to the
happened.
tree. We'll never forget the tree. We're still
Long
talking about the tree.
Long live the tree, man. Long live the tree. I remember watching that back and nobody was tweeting about it because it was like 10 p.m. on a Tuesday or whatever. But I was still in grad school then, so I didn't have much to do. And I'm looking, I'm like, am I the only one who sees a giant ass tree in the back of this stadium? And then it picked up some coverage, but I was like, okay, cool, I'm not crazy. No, yeah, it's I think it's average. I don't know if we'll see anything in trash. I think there were a couple moments in the video, but we've cut them out just for whatever. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
it an average, and maybe if you really need that kind of separation, that one we could drop.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. However, it's time to move on to the next one.
Good transition.
This is up there with Raquinho as one of the greatest moments in the entire year. So the referee's name is Philip Dujic, I believe is how you pronounce that. He is reviewing a play in the St. Louis versus Atlanta game in the 23rd minute. The VAR booth calls him over to review a foul or review a disallowed goal. He comes in and says the goal that he disallowed was in fact not offside to the roar of the stadium in St. Louis. And then he hits the most perfect pass. Let me see if I can do it. To nobody, by the way. Nobody in the stadium's looking at him, but he just hits a hold on a second, and then goes, however, with the finger point, However, he said that there was a foul in the buildup and the goal still was taken off the board. No goal. And it was the most legendary VAR. And this is why you bring VAR announcements into the game. Don't Americanize my game. Americanize it all because you get moments like this. It's goated and I won't hear anything about it. What a clip.
Oh yeah, no. This might be clip of the year. I mean, this made so much meme potential from like everything I saw. Like it was getting memed left and right. Like it became a template for
It
memes.
did. It
Like
did.
that's rare. That is super rare. It
Especially in
was
MLS. Like it was
yeah,
a it
yeah,
was a meme for outside of MLS.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like
Oh,
now even outside of sports, like it just became a general meme. It is so iconic. It was so great. Yeah, this is easily good. It for me, this might be the best moment of the year.
I think it's up there. I 100% think it's up there. I remember dying watching this, watching it back, just straight up laughing. I'm like, there's no way that actually happened, and it actually happened later on in the year as well. Another referee did it. I don't remember who it was,
Did
but
they do it
another.
with as much sass? That's the
No, no,
question.
actually, it was in the Red Bull game if I remember correctly.
That's why you remember it.
Let me see. No, it was RSL Portland. Never mind. Yes, it's Tori Penso. So Tori Penso was calling the RSL Portland game later in the year and did something very similar where she made an announcement, the thing went off, but she was trying to get it out quickly to avoid the delay, and she couldn't, so she had to wait and make the announcement, however, to do that. I, for one, believe that it should be referee protocol to throw a however in there at least once a match week. So if you go over to the VAR booth, you get on headset and you're like, okay, you're the last game of the match week. You got to get a however in there, right? That just to mix it up a little bit. Maybe do it the first one. Maybe do it the seventh game. I don't know. Don Garber controls everything anyway, right? Like he can just make anything happen.
Yeah.
So, uh, what what a clip, man. I think that might just be my meme response to anything. Like I'm at work and my boss like, hey, how's it going? I go, great, boss, it's great. However, I've burned down the lab. I'm sorry, but at least you got a good meme out of it.
A great meme.
Goated
Goated meme.
meme. All right, just a couple more here. Well, we're gonna jump on over to FC Dallas versus Austin in the Texas Derby. I think it's probably the name of it. There's a penalty that was given, and Petar Musa steps up and is ready to take it. If I remember this correctly, because I was watching this on 360, it was Julio Cascante who was just trying to get in Petar Musa's head, just mess with him, kick up the dirt, whatever. Petar Musa steps in and laces it into the top of the goal. And instead of running away and celebrating with his teammates, he turns around, finds Julius Cascante, and just starts waving his finger in his face. Ha ha, you can't get to me. You can't get to me. Ha 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 ha. And all of the other players get around him, and it starts a little bit of a scrum, but very much a derby celebration. I wish it had escalated into more, personally. For a derby, for something to be like, and then be like, oh yeah, whatever. No, at the very least, you get studs into his ankle the next play. Like, it just didn't give me that thing. What? How are you feeling about it?
Did you see Nkosi as well in it?
I
He's doing
did.
like the whatever you call it, like the antlers. He did like the boo boo or whatever.
Yes, yes,
I really want to know the context of like what I don't remember. It's not in the clip that we would watch, and don't go looking for it right now. This is already like 10:15. Like let's but I wish we knew like exactly what Cascante did that like set this off because they looked pissed about it. Whatever it was, they were livid about it. Like Musa really gets into his face.
yeah.
Um
If I remember correctly, he was just trying to, as they were doing the VAR check or whatever, he was just trying to get in his head and all that. And they were probably fighting too throughout the game, right, as a center back
sure.
striker combo.
Yeah, true.
Where do you put it?
I put it in good. I put it in good. I mean I think it's a funny clip. I won't remember it after this year though.
No, I also have it in good for the exact reason. I think it was really funny. Like, you look back, you're like, oh yeah, I do remember that, like when it popped up. But I don't think, like, if we weren't doing this episode and it popped up in a year, I'd be like, what? Well, let's stick with FC Dallas then, and making fun of players or getting back at players. It is FC Dallas versus Sporting Kansas City, and Paul Arriola has the ball very deep into his own half, picking up, trying to go quickly as they are losing. They're down 3-2 in the 95th minute. They're trying to go quickly, get back into it. And Zorhan Basong decides that he is going to stand in front of Paul Arriola and prevent him from taking the throw. Losing the game and knowing that the whistle's probably going to go anyway, Paul Arriola launches the ball into Zorhan Basong's head. Zorhan Basong then goes in and attacks Paul Arriola and is sent off for his actions. But just absolutely, just first off, Paul Arriola throws that ball relatively strong, and Zorhan doesn't even flinch. And then to go back and lay out Paul Arriola with a little bit of help from his acting, um, just all around great content, all around great. What do you got?
It is great content.
Yeah,
He throws a tough shoulder into Paul Arriola. Like he puts some meat behind that one. He lays him out. I think it's good for me. It's another clip where honestly I didn't even remember it without watching the video. Not that it's not a good clip. Like it is. It was it was super entertaining to watch. But I feel like there's no shot I'm gonna remember it after this year.
I would agree with that. I think it was one of the things I vaguely remember. Like when it popped, I was like, oh yeah, I remember when that happened. But it's not something like if I'm just thinking about the 2024 MLS season as I do, that would pop into my head like, oh my God, remember when that happened? Yeah, I think good is a good place to put it. No pun intended.
Or
We've
pun
got one.
intended.
No pun, no pun. I don't intend puns. Puns just happen. That's why they're
Okay,
punny.
fair.
Why don't we wrap this up then with another great moment from the Atlanta versus Inter Miami series? And it is at the heat of the moment. It is Atlanta breaking down the right hand side of the field, or yeah, the right hand side of the field. They go to cross the ball in, and just out of nowhere, Inter Miami center back Tomas Aviles decides to sit down with no obligation to play the ball out. Atlanta crosses it over. It goes all the way through the box to Pedro Amador, who then lines up yet another cross and finds the head of Bartosz Slisz, who nods it past Trey Callender for the 3-2 lead with 15 minutes to go, which would end up winning them the series and moving them on to play Orlando in the conference semifinals. What a clip. I remember watching that in the middle of the game go, did he just sit down? Is he laying down? Oh my God, they scored. Wow, what a series. What do you got?
This is gonna be a tough one for me to grade because it's an Atlanta clip, so I'm gonna remember this more. On memory's sake, it would fall in the great category for me, but I feel like it's not like a great clip. I feel like the clip fits better in the good category. But I'm curious, what do you think?
I was
I'm
gonna put
curious
it
what
in
you think.
great. I think
Okay.
watching it back because again, tying it all into what we know about how that series went, I've got it, you know, Miami couldn't break them down. They were defensively suspect all series. They finally get a chance to get it into extra time where Atlanta are gassed. They've lost Brooks Lennon, they've lost Stian Gregerson, they've lost Daniel Rios, they've lost Jamal Tiare, they've lost all these players to injury. All you gotta do is see it into extra time. They've got no subs left. They're gassed. Just get into extra time, you will win the game. And their star young center back, who's supposed to be the next big thing, just lays down. And I think that's one of the things that I'll remember for a good little bit when we talk about this series, right? Brad Guzan on horse tranquilizers, just lighting it up. The grit and determination that they played against Miami, and then how they got through with 3 goals and one of them being this. I think that's a great memory for me.
Yeah, yeah. I think, man, that was a crazy game.
Crazy
I'm
series.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that game especially though. Like that's where the Brad clip happened. That's where this happened. Like, yeah, I won't disagree with you on great. I'm good with great.
All right. Well, not a ton of disagreement there for us, but that's okay. This is more of a vibes one. We wanted to end the season with a really good review of what's gone on. We hope you enjoyed it, guys. So if you disagree with where we've put it, or you want to put other things in there, if you remember better moments, let us know so we can kind of talk about it on our own. Make sure you follow us wherever you get your podcast. And the next time we go live, we've got tons of great 2025 content coming. Season 6, episode 400 is going to be here at some point. Insanity. Um, we got not so deep dives coming up. We got DP Pause revisited. We got MLS history coming back. We've got more interviews. We've got more topics to cover. And of course, MLS news never stops breaking, so we will always be covering that as well. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts. So you know the next time our episodes go live. Follow us wherever you get your social media so you can interact with our clips and with us on social media. We're trying to get to 1,000 on YouTube, so make sure you follow us there. Also on Twitter or Blue Sky, whichever you prefer. We're on both of them, and TikTok. We're getting pretty active over there as well. So follow us wherever you get all that, and we will see you next time on the next episode of the Designated Players and MLS podcast. See ya.